The words come slow, pressed for time, thinking so much more than I could ever say out loud. This is just the start, and maybe I will fall apart, and maybe I won't try as hard as I've always wanted to for you. It's hard to say I miss you when I barely even kissed you, and it's hard to make you wish you were with me, but we had was only a memory. Bodies and lighters were intertwined, your feet kept warm as I turned a blind eye to this means to me. Under the knitting, sitting on the couch, I have a few things we should talk about, but don't turn away from me tonight. In time I'll find a way to sort this out, but for now it's hard to say I miss you when I barely even kissed you, and it's hard to make you wish you were with me, and it's hard to say I miss you when I barely even kissed you, and it's so hard to make you wish you were with me, but we had this only a memory. It's hard to say I miss you when I barely even kissed you, and it's so hard to make you wish you were here with me, and it's hard to say I miss you when I barely even kissed you, and it's so hard to make you wish you were with me, what we had was only a memory.
Hi. Welcome back. Stankabutt and Stankaboo are back, and today we have a very special guest. And
What's your name?
Tristan Smith.
Tristan Smith.
Yes,
You gotta
I know
give it
this
up.
with Brittany Sheffield.
That's right.
Artist management.
Thank you guys again so much for having me.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
coming.
for
It's such an honor.
Thank you
I've
so
not done
much.
anything like this before. It's exciting.
Oh, wow.
There's a first for everything, isn't
Right?
there?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what made you want to get started in the music industry?
So I think music's been a passion throughout my life. It's been something that's fun and entertaining to do, and I think in the past 2 years I've met so many interesting musicians, people that I feel like I connect with. They're normal individuals like I am, but also very talented, and so they're introducing me to people and just giving me opportunities to get out there and do what I do, and it's becoming more of a reality that you can get out there and you know what I mean. There's levels. I feel like at one point I thought, okay, there's nobody knows you, and then there's like being famous, and that's difficult. It's a bit daunting when you look at it that way. But I've seen a lot of people that there's just like right now, a lot of people locally know them, and then they move from that to the next level.
You have to. I see humble beginnings.
Yes.
To be honest, that's the best way to start, and you definitely seem like a humble cat. So again, we thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, that song that you just played, I loved
Beautiful.
it. It actually made me feel relaxed. What was the name of the song and what inspired you to write it?
What was the name of that song?
I like that.
Pen to Paper is the name of that song. So the way that song came about is really funny. So I feel like when you can write about anything, it's difficult. Just like any creative thing. If you can just do anything, it's hard to do anything.
Yeah.
But
That's
my friend told me, he goes, why don't you write a song about writing a song? And I said, that ain't gonna work. And then I did. So yeah, a bit of it is about, it's just like relationship stuff, and it's like the normal like guy girl thing. And so
Relatable.
yeah, but it's funny because my friend and I were going through a similar situation. So the verses are kind of like me looking at things that are going on with him that I can relate to. And the chorus is like out of a thing that happened with me personally.
So you can actually write from your perspective as well as a perspective from him to be
Right.
able to relate to. I love artists who actually know how to target different, I want to say emotions, but they know how to pinpoint aspects of life and struggles as to what everybody is going through. And when you know how to leak it through a pen on a pad so your audience can, it's literally like a one-to-one. It makes them feel like it's a one-to-one.
Right.
You know, they can relate to it, and I love that. It's very rare nowadays where you run into artists, you know, where you can relate. You know what, that song that you wrote, blah blah blah, I can relate to that. You know, and then they can sit down and even tell you just by that song. You know, I look at that situation from a better point of view. You know, whatever. So, like I said, we're happy to have you here, and I definitely know that our audience is going to be excited to hear where they can hear your music. Hopefully download some of your music.
Absolutely.
Real soon. Do you have anything that's actually...
So right now, I don't know if it's downloadable. I know I have a website. It's tristanmsmith.com.
Okay.
And on there is one of my songs. I'm in the process of finding people to work with to record things, because I think you can probably agree.
We're going to call him Pretty Green Blue Eyes.
Thank you.
I'm going to get a close-up, you guys.
Yes.
We normally do this. We have to have a funny part. But
Yes.
he has... What color are your eyes?
Blue. My eyes are blue.
Blue, beautiful blue eyes.
Thank you.
So we're going to call him Mickey Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
But I think you guys can probably relate that when you're an artist working by yourself, there's a limit to like what you hear, because you are working within your means. It's great when you get to work with other people and they bring different things to it. Although I was a drummer in a band, and although I do play bass and like I do other things, I can only hear what's in my head. And I love when other people come in and do something you're like, that sounds great. I would not have come up with that on my own ever in a million years. So I think that's ultimately what I'd like to do. I think in the very near future, I'm going to do a very stripped down acoustic. These are my songs. This is what I do to get it out there. But I'd really like to work with a group of people that add more to that.
Yes.
I see what you're saying. And currently, right now, I want to say this day and age, you are seeing more scenes where the acoustic, you know, performances are getting, you know, a little bit of light, you know, showing up to it. So trust me.
Well, I've noticed too, when I get approached to do a show, for instance, and someone says, "Hey, can you do this thing?" If I do an acoustic set by myself, easily I'm like, "Yeah, I'm about it." They can come to me like an hour before the thing is going to happen, and I'm down. Whereas I feel like it's more difficult. I've been in bands, and there's more people in scheduling. You got
no shows, no call,
It's difficult. Everyone's got things going on, so I can depend on myself.
Correct.
I'll show up to the thing if I say I will.
And
So
then
I think
you have your instrument in hand, and then, like you said, you not only the gift of playing string, you can play drums. Is there any other instruments you play?
I play bass a bit. It's been a little while, but yeah, I think for the most part right now, I focus on playing guitar, singing. When I do solo things, for sure, it's more relatable. People kind of hear where your song is going.
Yeah.
And then I'm called upon occasionally to play with different people. Right now, I'm playing with a girl named Katie Patton.
Shout out Katie Patton.
Katie Patton,
Yes.
right? And I play drums for her, and I also play drums for a girl named Bailey Callahan.
And
Bailey
Callahan.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
What
right.
genre do you see yourself going?
I think for me, it's singer-songwriter. It's a little bit. I think it's a little bit pop, and I don't want to get ahead, but I feel like we talked a little bit about maybe people that inspire you and that you aspire to be like. And for me, Ed Sheeran is like right now the man that I look up to. Because I think he's obviously making a name for himself, right? Everybody knows who he is. But also when you go to a show, I went to a show recently, and just being able to capture an entire stadium, just yourself on stage, is just amazing. And so half of the things that he does is like ballads and, you know, obviously softer things. And then the other half is more hip-hop feel. We're doing beats and things. And I think it keeps the energy up, and you're excited, whereas I think most people, it's changing now, but for a while most people looked at acoustic as kind of it's laid back and just kind of, go with the flow.
Yes.
Background noise
Mm-hmm.
for me doing whatever I'm doing in my life.
Okay.
So, it's very, very cool to me because I think before then my roots were like playing rock, mostly drums. And so you want to keep the energy up. You want to keep
correct. You got to keep the attention of your crowd.
So your top 3 people, they don't have to be famous, but who are your top 3 favorite artists?
Ooh, it's so difficult, right? Because first of all, I have a terrible memory,
Okay.
and second of all, obviously there's so many people out there that are just like really, really talented. I think Ed Sheeran is it. I think here's the problem, right? So I think Justin Bieber is like onto something right now, and it's difficult to say that, right? It's difficult to say I'm looking up to that guy, but he's making good music right now, so you can't really deny it. And I don't know. It's just here's the thing too. So I feel that as far as a rock band, and this come like way out of left field, my favorite band of all time is Ben Coheed and Cambria, which I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're just very technical and like very, very different. I feel that Ed Sheeran is kind of like this is the mainstream. This is what everybody knows. Coheed and Cambria is like cult following, loads of people that are just like for them. A bit more underground, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, I listened to you vocally as well as playing, and the person that came to my mind, he sings Evergreen.
I don't know what that is.
Or is it Evergreen or 70? I'll love you till we're 70. That song.
Oh, that's Ed Sheeran, yeah.
That song. You remind me so much.
You can't do a cover?
Sure, yeah. So I got that song. It's
You want to save that for his performance?
No, he's gonna just do his song.
Before we give the audience what they definitely tune in for.
Yes.
One of my most important questions that I want to know goes in what goes on in the mind of different artists. And that question is, what is the message that you want to give or you see yourself giving through your music?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's very important. You know what I mean? Like this is going to make or break how people perceive you. I think for me, it's just about, these are things that happen in my life, and it starts off being like a therapeutic thing. Like, this is what's going on with me, and I just want to put it out there. And then when I look back on it, I kind of think, hopefully somebody else is going through the same thing, and they'll take from this. I'm not alone. I'm not the only person that's going through this. Because it's difficult. Like, there's a lot of things that we all go through, and I think a lot of us think, oh, nobody understands me. Nobody understands where I'm
But music is like worldwide. It's a worldwide language.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I definitely like the answer. I know as we keep going back to this relatable, I love artists, that we can relate to.
Yes.
So,
I know I have one question.
Sure.
I know you're supposed to be performing for Christmas. That's what your manager told me. Brent, can you tell me more about that and where it's going to be?
Yeah, so Sleeping Moon Cafe is on Loma 436, and it's gonna be this Friday. We're gonna
say that a little bit louder. So
we're gonna have a show this Friday at the Sleeping Moon Cafe. It's on Loma and 436.
Okay.
So be there.
Yes.
So absolutely, great music. I'll be there, but also loads of other musicians that are great. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a showcase of everyone's original music. I know we have some festivities that are going on as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Sleeping Moon is a great venue. There's an open mic that happens there every Tuesday. So I know that that's where I've met a lot of musicians and a lot of people. If you're trying to get into music and you're not, if you're not really sure, it's a really good place. So many benefits. You can meet people to network, like you said. You can also get your things out there. If you're writing something and you don't know how it comes across, you play it, you talk to people about it, or just getting in front of people in general. Because I know for me personally, I'll come up with songs or I'll cover somebody's song and I work on it, loads at home, and then I go to play it at a show, and it doesn't always come across the way that you practice it. You forget things. Open mics are such a great way to get out there and just kind of hone your craft.
Yeah.
So that's a shout out to all of anybody, I want to say, in Orlando that has an open mic platform for artists, from artwork to musicians to vocalists to artists, whatever it is. Shout out to, we want to say, Loud Hookah Lounge. Any and everybody that currently right now has a platform for artists such as
Tristan Smith,
such as Tristan here. We thank you.
And you were actually our very first artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're number.
I'm so honored. It's only gonna get better from here. I promise.
Yes.
I promise.
Right.
So then when you're going to the Grammys, don't forget. We're gonna interview you.
Don't forget the little people. We have one last question before we take you into the room, so you can show them what it is you do best. The last question that I have for you is, what has been your greatest obstacle that you have had to overcome, and it somewhat is in connection, I want to say, that leads back to your music, or is it your music that actually helped you get through it? Or
I think probably the greatest obstacle is, getting out there and having confidence in yourself to do what you want to do, because it is difficult when you see that there are so many talented people out there. It's really, really challenging to say what I have to do, matters, and I'm good enough to be up there doing things. Right. I find a lot of people that I'm blown away by also feel the same way, and it's interesting because you want to stay humble. You don't want to get a big head, and you want to feel like approachable. People can come and talk to you, but at the same time, you've got to have enough confidence to be able to get up there and do your thing. So I think that's been the biggest
obstacle.
Challenge. Yeah.
So what would you tell our audience today? Do you have any advice regarding any aspiring artist that's trying to get their feet wet? Because I'm an artist myself, and I still get my feet wet. But like you said, humbleness is where it began. So what advice do you have for our audience today?
I think the biggest thing, again, is open mics. Open mics are a great way to make connections, and also it's the lowest pressure situation. You're not being hired to go in there. There's no expectation of what you're going to do, and it allows you to step out of your comfort zone in a safe environment where any good open mic that's out there, everybody there has been in that position before. Right. Everybody is going to be supportive of what you're doing. Right. And especially at Sleeping Moon, I'm just saying, if you want to try out
someplace, be there. And again, it is,
check it out. See how, see the event that's going down on Friday, but just get a feeling for it and come on Tuesday also.
And also, what's your social media, and where can they hear your music?
So here's the thing, I'm terrible at knowing what my social medias are.
Okay.
But on my website at tristanmsmith.com, there are social media links on that too. I have a Facebook, Snapchat.
Is that a capital M or a lowercase m?
I think all of it you can do lowercase. Yeah, it's just all one word though. It's difficult. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, you guys, we're gonna go set up part 2. We're gonna have him performing. So stay tuned.
Woo!